My main question was, how does an evolving society impact fashion trends over time? Fashion can be defined as the social systematic production, consumption, and institutionalization of novelty that integrates culture and the individual and the economy. It finds expression materially and visually in forms of color, shape, texture, and branding, integrated into local and global systems. Sociologist George Simmel pointed that fashion was not just about clothing styles, but was in fact a basic process that propelled modern life. We begin in the 1950s, the post-war era that was defined by conservatism and classiness. There was less need to ration materials and families began to have spending money. This began to push more consumerism and even popularized department stores. Clothing was still heavily restricted, included regulated collar sizes and lengths of skirts. Some styles of the 1950s were mostly conservative and clean-cut. The business suit, poodle skirts, longer pencil skirts, hourglass waistlines, small hats, and headscarves were all popular of that time. Next, we look at the 1960s, the age of counterculture. This was a period of great social, economic, and political change which included prosperity for Americans. This gave rise to counterculture that established many of today's social norms. The counterculture was motivation for issues such as equality, sexism, and racism. This gave rise to hippie culture and youth subculture. People began to rebel against traditional clothing. The 1960s fashion straddled the line of casual and formal. Brighter colors emerged from the pop art movement. Styles included corduroy pants, oversized collars, drop-waist dresses, turtlenecks, the tunic, and tops began to be worn untucked. Next is the 1970s. Activism continued with an uprise of environmentalism. Styles came from individual expression rather than trying to fit in. This was to please themselves versus pleasing others. Many did not support consumerism, to protest the Vietnam War and propose peace. Many styles were androgynous, and there was a larger variety of fabrics including wool, velvet, suede, and leather. Styles of the 1970s included bell-bottoms, miniskirts, hot pants, and blue jeans. The 1980s was the age of creativity. This was an experimental period of history for fashion. People dressed to define their personalities and to make a big statement. 1980s fashion rejected the non-materialistic hippie values that had inspired the 70s fashion. Families were earning big money and spending conspicuously. Styles like punk emerged as rejection against both hippie and materialist values. There was an increase in globalization and spread of pop culture as technology became more widespread. Styles of the 1980s included shoulder pads, miniskirts with leggings, leg warmers, huge earrings, and scrunchies. The 1990s was the decade of anti-fashion. People began to take a minimalist approach on fashion. This was an era based on comfort and emphasized the casual look. This included carefree, genderless styles. The fluorescent colors of the 80s were replaced with softer shades. This propelled styles of grunge and metal. MTV and other new media platforms pushed these styles. Styles of the 1990s included flannels, relaxed fit jeans, plain t-shirts, wide-leg capri shorts, and chains. The 2000s was the mashup decade. This era incorporated fusions of styles. Designers began to mix color and patterns from the 60s, 70s, and 80s to produce wild and fun styles. Globalization also influenced the decade's trends with incorporation of Middle Eastern and Asian cultures into mainstream American trends. Many trends came from hip-hop and media icons. Styles included halter tops, belly skirts, denim miniskirts, rise jeans, and capris. Fashion holds a strong cultural meaning that gives identity to a person as well as a society. In conclusion, fashion is fundamental to culture because it offers aesthetic forms in which people attach to. Fashion is influenced by religion, music, habits, and customs that evolve simultaneously with a society.